Hello and welcome to Holistic Flow. I'm your host, Julie. I'm an astrologer, coach, and founder of Wild Radiance Collective. And today I am joined by Megan Desrosiers, a writer, artist, and psycho-pomp who weaves the spiritual and creative in all of her offerings. Her ancestors call her the keeper of the words, and she is a contributor to Lucy H. Pierce's Crow Moon. Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Julie, thank you. It's an honor, and I'm happy that we found a time to make this work. Yeah, thank you.
Me too. I'm so excited. Um, as some of you may know, I work with Megan a lot. I am one of her clients, so I am so thrilled to be inviting her here in this space to talk about herself and her work and what she has to offer. So, to begin, Megan, can you tell us more about yourself and how you came into this work that you do?
Sure. So it's as you said, I'm a writer and artist and a psycho-pomp, and writer and artist, and really psycho-pomp have been with me since childhood. Um, just that different things wove in at different times as to when I was ready to identify them and step into those roles. And it's really been all about intuition and just knowing what felt good and what didn't feel good, and saying, okay, this doesn't feel right, but this feels good, so I'm going to lean more into that. And so just trusting in those breadcrumbs that my soul had left along the way to follow and pick up and step into the purpose of why I'm here. Um, yeah.
That's like because I know you and because we've talked so much, that is a really beautiful and really tiny snapshot of I know your journey of so much that you have experienced and what you work towards. So, what would you say that if you could describe in words what calls you to do this work in working with others? Because I know that so much of the work that you do and the work that I do is very often a journey of our own self-discovery, our own experiences, of our spirit or our soul or our essence, whatever it is that everybody likes to use is describe their inner being. But when you're in that kind of space, and then you're also offering
Mhm.
those services to others, like what what brings you to that?
I mean, it's just how I'm wired. It's what I'm here to do. And um, if I wasn't doing it, I'd be very unhappy. Um, I know initially I did a palm reading with you, and so I have a really good understanding of my own palms. And um, yeah, it's just like this is what I need to be doing. And it's a part of my soul journey that I'm here to be a beacon to help those who are looking for guidance or looking for healing. And I've been in so many dark places in many different lifetimes and in this lifetime, such that I've comfort there, and I can also see people and have empathy for their experiences, whether I experience them in this lifetime or others. Um, I'm at the completion cycle of being a helper to help guide people out of those dark places. Yeah, it's just something I have to do.
You're like compelled to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it feel like, because I this is something I think about a lot with my own drive and determination to do certain things that I don't always understand. Like sometimes I kind of want to be like, could you take it down a notch? Like I need to focus on some other things. And for better or for worse, that doesn't always happen.
Mm.
So when you're feeling this draw and this pull, I know you're mentioning, your previous experiences in this type lifetime and other lifetimes. In this lifetime right now, how how does it feel in your body and your mind to be like, I have to do this thing? Like, how do you recognize it? Because I think
Mm.
sometimes people on a similar path are like, what am I doing? How am I supposed to know if this is right? Can you tell us? Like, how did you know?
Yeah, so I mean, on the one hand, I'm a medium, so I don't I just, you know, it's just that clear knowing, right? Like, I just know. I can't tell you how, I just know. But on the other hand, it's been a long journey in this lifetime of coming in with blocks and also accumulating those in childhood and throughout my teenage and early years of just shutting things down one by one. Like, I could see ghosts when I was a kid. It terrified me because they weren't nice ghosts, and I didn't have a framework, and I didn't have anyone I could talk to about it. Um, and I said for years, I don't want to work with the fairies. Absolutely no. I didn't know why. I just absolutely no. And all of these things that I was saying no to were actually who I was. And as I began to strip away the layers and the blocks and heal the various traumas and integrate, I came to understand, oh, wait, I have a really good familiarity with the fairies and they're here to help me. So by saying no, I was turning away who I was. When I took psycho-pomp training years ago with somebody else who she doesn't offer it anymore, I just blurted out in the first gathering, like, I don't feel like I belong here. And here I am several years later, like, oh, this is who I am. This is absolutely who I am and an integral part of why I'm here and what I do. And there were just various other aspects like that. So it's, in the one hand, it's shifting perception and then getting curious, like, why am I refusing this? Why do I feel like I don't belong? Why do I feel like this isn't who I am? And slowly the layers peel away, you know, like the onion or the parfait if you're in Shrek, right? You peel away all the onions and or all the layers,
Such a good
and
reference.
everybody loves parfait. You peel away all the layers, and you get to the essence of who you are. You're like, oh yeah, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to do. And then it's just fully stepping into that and believing it. And yeah, it can be scary, this unknown, but that's where I'm comfortable. So that's where I can help people tap back into these things and peel away these layers that are preventing them from seeing themselves. Because it's really just all our perception. And it's really just our understanding of our experience so far. And then as you peel these things away, you're like, oh, wow, why did I think that? That's not even real, you know? It's all illusions that we manifest.
Yeah, and in this case, because I always start translating into like astrology language, I start thinking about like these blocks and barriers, that, and yes, illusions can be as well. Like, you were imposing these on yourself for some reason, and I love that you said to get curious, because and actually Liz Gilbert says it really well. She says something to the effect of, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but she says something to the effect of, when you're going after, this is going to be a very rough paraphrase, when you're going after what you want every day, or in your life, pursuing things with passion isn't sustainable. And she says, though, if you can show up every single day and get curious,
Mhm.
then the path starts to unfold and things start to fall in place. And I just think that's really profound.
Mhm.
And it's also so simple. And so often getting curious in our lives or in the world today isn't encouraged. You need to do this and you need to do that, and then you'll get there. And that's how things go. And that's how the systems and our culture want us to perform. Um, but it's in the curiosity where things become unearthed and, yes, peeled back
Yeah.
like the onion. I'm such a Shrek fan, so that really that really warmed my heart. um, and I think I also love that you noted, you're like, I'm a medium, so there's some things that I just know. but then you're like, but if I set that aside for a moment and, speak more to the human experience that many people have, is that um clarity doesn't just come. You Not always. Sometimes you have to work for it and you have to discover it. And I know that you have done so many different types of training and education and work in so many different modalities. So, for you, would you say that any one modality or experience was more transformational in helping you, set aside some of these illusions or these blocks and barriers?
No, because they're all facets of the crystal. They're all components that make this whole holistic aspect. For years, I used to kind of be a little envious of the people that were so focused on that one thing, that became amazing at that one thing. And then in time, I came to understand that the different trainings, or the different things that I did, or got curious about, or just dabbled in a little bit. It's like, it was part of remembering who I am. Like, I've done these things before. This is just a reminder. Oh yeah, I can do that. And maybe just because I can do that, I don't have to do that. But in the same respect, that remembering has made this more holistic ability to see all these different sides and perceive different things. And also, I'm just wired a little bit differently, that I see things differently than most people. I forget what the exact setup is in my natal chart, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, which also causes some conflict, because people are like, well, I don't see that. It's like, well, I don't know how to explain it. It's just an offering, and take it or leave it. Um, I will say, though, that the main modality was just my clear understanding that there was something. Um, for years, it started off with my own healing journey. Like, this isn't right. How do I don't want to say make it right, but like, this isn't right. How do I sort of help to be more comfortable in this? And that took several years of just trusting my intuition and what worked and what didn't work, for healing my own physical and mental and emotional body. And it's like, noticing, okay, well, I feel this way after I have a lot of sugar, or I feel this way after I have a lot of dairy, or I feel this way after I have a lot of gluten. And so, just process of trial and error and elimination. And then, once you start stepping into that, of just believing, or trusting the intuition, then it's almost like this exponential, like logarithmic sort of scale, where it just keeps jumping almost timelines and getting faster and faster, and then it becomes so innate. And so I'd say my intuition was really the main modality of just, I went to several different healers initially. It's just like, I know there's something old there. I know there's something there. And it took several different healers. And then I finally found somebody who was like, went right to it. And it was big. And that really unlocked the door for so many other things to happen from there. Um, so just that intuition, and like, I know, I don't know what it is, but I just know. And then you keep seeking, and then you're almost in a way manifesting, being able to find the answer, right? And I'm not saying this in a way of like, you know, being on the drama trauma train, keep looking for the healer, keep looking for the healing. But in the same respect, like, if you know there's something, follow that. Just follow that.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I do believe also that the experiences we're presented with in our life, even though they might not seem unrelated at the time, they are helping you to follow that thing. And one of the most tangible experiences that often happens in that way is, and you and I have talked about this often, is that our body is like, this is what's happening right now in your body. And then if you learn to understand what your body is saying, you're like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. And then it helps to do this and this. And it helps keep you plugging along, even though, especially, I know for me specifically early on in my journey, really really starting to understand more of the wisdom of my body and the things that are going on. And when it is actually my intuition speaking with me compared to my maybe like being anxious or
Mhm.
fearful, things like that. That took a long time, but it all started with little things like, oh, this thing happened with my body. What does it mean? And what can I learn from it? And what should I be thinking? And how am I now being shifted to consider or focus on other things? So I think the breadcrumbs are absolutely a great way to describe it. I've actually described it similar as well. And um, knowing that it's just a constant cycle. This isn't like a be all. Actually, okay. Here's what I want to say, but I want to hear your perspective. So, in my experience, in my body, in my life that I am as of right now in this moment, I'm on a cyclical path of learning. I am aware that I continue to reach a new plateau and that I'm in that space for a while and I'm growing and evolving. And then all of a sudden, I'll have all these experiences and then I'll be like, oh, wow, I'm I'm seeing that this thing is happening and I've experienced something similar before and I may have reacted this way or chosen this, but now in this new space I'm I'm maybe more aware or I'm slowing down or I'm pausing, like whatever that needs. So like for me, I know I am on a constant evolution in that way. Now for you, I know that you're like, I'm a helper. I have learned so much already in my lifetimes. I've learned so much in this lifetime, and that you have, I'm going to use my word to describe it, not to insert it, but just to keep the understanding going. You have reached some sort of plateau that I personally have not, and that I don't necessarily understand. I think you know what I mean. Can you describe that and why and how that is experienced in your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't have more to work on, or I'm not actively working on more. We have our lesson plans for what we're working on, and that that thing that I was telling you about, that that was so devastating to my soul mission and soul contract that I gave up for several hundred years. And my soul decided before coming in with the contract, we're going to do it this time. For whatever reason, we're going to do it this time. So my plateau is higher because I have a really steep climb, and it's it's been hard. It's been a long, hard journey, and I feel like I'm getting close to the that next peak. But then you get up there and you're like, oh, hey, there's a bigger mountain over there.
True. It's true.
So yeah, I don't think of myself as like better than anybody else or worse. It's each have our own unique journeys, and they're trying to think of the right word. They're relative to what we're here to do. Um, so I'm here to move through some really big things, which may seem like a lot to somebody else or really hard to somebody else. But then um, I look at somebody else's and I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot harder than mine. It's all relative. And I'm glad that you picked up on another thread, because I was going to mention something before, just on how, yeah, these things repeat in our lives because there are lessons. They keep repeating because we haven't figured it out yet. So they're going to keep coming up until we figure it out. And then it's almost like the last time it comes up, it's like, that was just validation. Like, you got it now. This was just showing you that you've got it and you're ready for the next thing. Yeah, and that's part of the healing work that I do, is going back to the root of what started this repeating pattern from however many lifetimes ago. Okay, this happened, and this is why this is repeating. And it's not a one and done. It takes a little bit to unravel these things and to move through them, because they're really big lessons. It's not to diminish anyone's path because maybe I have a higher mountain. Everybody's got some hard things that they're working on. Um, and it's also that your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So if you find yourself maybe unable to find a healer that can help you, or to find a way to resolve something, when you're in that situation again, wait a second, what is it about me that's attracting this situation? Not from the victim perception, not from that idea, more of just, what is it about this that I need to learn about myself? Something about relationships, something about how so if you're in a repeating bad relationship, how is that reflecting how you treat yourself, right?
Yeah. I I want to go back to something
Mhm.
you said, or at least just encapsulate it, because I really feel it sitting here speaking with you now, and then so many times when I'm working with you in our sessions. Um, I love how you have just such a clear vision and idea of what you're here to do and what what you're encountering and how that's shaping you. And then I have a clear idea of what that is for me as well. And in general, there's that thread that ties them together where we're growing, we're evolving, we're shifting, we're aware, they're very connected. And on a different level, um, I, I became so aware that our experiences are, I'm just going to use the word experiences, are so different
Mhm.
and so valuable. And it feels so amazing to be in conversation with somebody in that way where everybody is appreciated and valued, and also recognizing that things are so different. Even just like, we have so many similarities. We're friends. We have I'm just obviously using us as a continued example here. We have so many great things in common, and that keep us connected. And then also there's this very clear, like, and then I can understand some of the things where we're very different but complementary. And
Mhm.
I love that. And I think that when we're in a space where we can connect with others in that way, it only uplifts each other.
Mhm.
I think those kinds of experiences uplift others around us as well, when they get to see, like, wow, they're both out there doing something so important but yet so different. And it's just continuing to elevate and uplift for everybody. And I also think that connecting with people in this way goes deeper into that ripple effect where it shares on and on to the next person and to the next person. And it's I really wanted to name that because I think it's something that we all so deeply desire. I think that we all had connections like that, either in previous lifetimes or in previous, even just, previous decades in our country, in the United States. And um, it's wonderful to be having that coming back.
Mhm.
That's what I'm feeling there. And that's so much of what I try to create in my work, in creating community and connection, is bringing back those things that are so important for all of us and all of our evolution and all of our interconnectedness. And to be able to experience that with you and such a deep level too, it's really beautiful. So I wanted to say that.
Mhm.
um and so then, to get back a little bit on get a little bit off track from my little heart moment, but also, like, um so important for us all to value and respect and uphold and uplift one another despite our different experiences. And there is no hierarchy. There is, as you mentioned, there's not like one person's better than the other. And yet for me, oh, here I am saying I was going off on this, but I'm continuing. Um so for me, I remember the first moment when I started to realize, like, where you were at and where I was at. And I did feel a little bit ashamed, like, oh wow, she's really got this figured out. And you didn't put that on me. I did. And so I worked through that. And I thought about that, and I've considered it, and I've thought about it in relation to other people. So I also just want to name, like, I didn't just come here into this beautiful, like, oh, heart, I love you, we're amazing. Like, there was some digging out of, like, some self doubt and shame, and for me to be like, what's going on here? What's what? And that's all part of this too. That's all part of it. I got little goosebumpies all in my. Apparently, I said something important. um, so yeah, I'll give you a second to chat because I went off on a tangent and then I didn't stop. So what are your thoughts?
No, thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, so hmm, that there are a few different things weaving in there, and the one of the biggest reasons I'm here is not to yeah, I'm a helper, but not to fix people. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to make you better. I'm here to help you remember yourself and remember connection with all the sentient beings. And people get so sort of caught up in what can I do to fix everything that's going on in the world. And there's so much, and we have instant knowledge the way we didn't used to. And um, really focusing on, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but like really focusing on your own self, what you can do for yourself. Because when you elevate, when you do your own work, that ripples out to the people around you, to the beings around you. And then they receive that. And then that ripples out from them. And it just keeps moving outwards. And yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. But when we focus on what we can do for ourselves, we feed into the belief that there can be better things, that we can vibrate higher. When we feed into fear, then that's what will keep being reflected back to us. Like I said before, the external world is a reflection of your internal world. I'm not saying that suddenly all the wars are going to end and all the horrors are going to end just because you don't believe in fear, but it can shift things for you. And yeah, it used to be that everybody had these connections. Everybody would just naturally connect with the land spirits and all the sentient beings around, and could chat with their ancestors, or could chat with the plants, or what have you. Like, there was just this rhythm and flow with the natural cycles of the world and the earth and where they were on the land. And so it wasn't like there was this special person that you went to who could only do this. Everybody could do it. It was just that medicine person, or that shaman, or that oracle, or that witch, or whatever they were called, that was their role only. Maybe they could do it a little bit better, or had deeper connections. But everybody could do this. So I'm just trying to help people remember how to do this, because when you step back into those natural rhythms and your own intuition, then you're able to feel more connected, and you're able to just feel better about where you are.
Yeah, and so that is wonderful lead in to. So Megan is leading a workshop at Wild Radiance Collective, and it's called Creative Nature Connection. And this is going to be just such a beautiful experience. And if you've been hearing or reading what Megan's talking about now and what she's sharing about, it'll become no surprise to you that this will be about plant communication and messages. So, Megan, can you? I know you are such a diverse and multifaceted being, and we haven't said it out loud yet, but that you're an herbalist, and you also do all of these other services. So can you tell us about your your connection with plants and herbs and things like that. And then also just tell us more about this workshop.
Yeah, so I have taken a few introductory, like year-long, herbal programs, and early on, Rosemary Gladstar, she's just so wonderful, and she just inspired me to sing to the plants. And I don't even know what I was singing or what I was saying, but I started doing that, mainly to a sage plant in the backyard that, whenever I harvested the leaves, but to other ones too. And it just felt nice and natural. And one day I was sitting by a mullein plant, and then I just had this download of this short little poem. I was like, okay. I had never thought of myself as a poet or, really in that type of aspect. And so I wrote it down and I kind of set it aside. And then I shared it with a friend and she's like, oh no, that's really nice. And then from there, just like I said before about this logarithmic scale, these little messages came in. Sometimes longer poems, sometimes shorter. The the start of the novella that I'm working on, the Gardens of the Underworld, which is a book of poisonous plant poetry that should be out sometime this summer. All of that was just in being outside and being observant and listening to whatever a plant had to share in that moment, and then writing it down. And if I missed it or I forgot, usually when I went by the same plant again, I would get the same message the next day and then the day after that. And usually by the third time, it's like, okay, I really need to remember this, right? So it's, you start small and then doorways open that you weren't even expecting. So you can start these conversations. And if you feel silly, then it's okay. Just practice. In time, it will become more natural. And in time, you'll begin to receive messages in return. And I did, for a while, I doubted what I was receiving. Oh, I know that Pussy Willow would have that type of message, or I know this plant would have that type of message. And then there was one day that I encountered a tree in the woods, and it gave me these messages, and I didn't even really know what tree it was at the time. And when I went home and I looked it up, I was like, oh, I didn't make any of that up. There's no way I could have known that or made that up. So it gets to a point where just keep going with it. And eventually you'll get to a point where, oh, there's no way I could have made that up. And then you start to believe. And then that logarithmic, the exponential growth from there is infinite.
Yeah. And so this is what you're going to be guiding us through in the workshop.
Yeah.
So when people come to the workshop, is there any suggestion you would give them before they arrive to be open to what you have to share?
Yeah. So in the weeks or the week or at least the few days leading up to the workshop, try to get outside, even if it's just for a few minutes, and just really be present and observe and notice if there's a plant that's getting your attention, or a stone, or some bird calls, or whatever. Maybe it's an element, but what is it that's really getting your attention? Because then during the workshop, we're going to work with that. What is it that this is trying to offer to you? What is the message? What is the reflection that is being offered? So everybody will come with and if you want to pick up, acorns, or pick some flowers, or what it is that is getting your attention, or just have some photographs, that works too. That's often how I work, is just taking a quick photograph so I can remember it. So bring that, and then I'll guide everybody on a journey to connect with that item. And then from there, we'll do some sort of creative. If you're a writer, you can write. If you like to draw, you can draw. And if you don't like to do either, play with drawing, play with, crayons or something. I really encourage people to get creative, no matter how good or not good of an artist or a writer you think you are, um, because it's the act of the creation that offers the integration.
Yes. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. I'm excited, and the season is just perfect. So, if you were to leave anybody with one thought or message today that's coming through for you to share, what would it be?
Just go outside. Really just go outside and be present. Put your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and just listen.
Mm, yes, that's perfect. So tell us, where do you want people to find you? What have you got coming up that you want people to know about?
Sure. So people can find me at herbalbonesart.com. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. You can find the links through my webpage to get there. Um, I don't know when you're going to be airing this, but I do have psycho-pomp training that I run twice annually. The first one starts April 13th, and then the Samhain portal would be starting late October. And yeah, there's all sorts of events and virtual and healing offerings and art and other things to explore on my website.
Yes, there are. There's so much. And anytime that you work with Megan, you just get the most caring, compassionate, and nurturing guidance and support. And I recommend it highly. I will include all of those links below in the show notes for you to find. And Megan, thank you so much again. I'm so much looking forward to your workshop that's going to be on May 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's live on Zoom. You can also get the replay if you can't attend live. Again, those links will also be in the show notes. So all the deets that you need will be here.
Thank you so much. Really, I really appreciate this.
You are welcome. I appreciate this. This has been another absolutely lovely conversation. I'm so glad we got to share it with so many people. And
Thank
I look
you.
forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.